In our previous video, we created a dashboard that accumulates messages on a photo in, photo out, and photo exception queue, or topic rather. In this video, we're going to aggregate that information together in a service layer using some set construction, and then we'll eventually show this information in a dashboard using Spring Boot and TimeLeaf. So let's start by creating our new service. I'm going to go to the service package, and I'm going to right-click and say New, and then Class, and we will call this one Dashboard Service. Just like so. It doesn't need to extend anything. So we'll note it with the @service annotation, which is like the @component annotation, but typically we use this to indicate a service. We'll go ahead and import just like so. Now, within our dashboard service, we're going to need to access a private iDashboard DAO, dashboard DAO. I'll zoom up so we can see this in high definition, and also I'm going to add an auto-wired annotation above the dashboard DAO so that Spring will know about it. Now, I'm going to create a series of methods that return sets. So I'm going to say get unprocessed photos. We'll go ahead and Control 1 and import that. And now let's duplicate this a couple more times. So the next one we'll call get processed photos, and the final one we'll call get exceptions. Get exceptions is going to be the easiest because we're just going to take our dashboard DAO and we're going to invoke get photo exception. Because remember, if something goes wrong in our photo post processor, we're simply going to add it to this photo exception. That's the only way an item can get on that exception topic is if it was caught in the catch block. So this one's the easiest. We just need to add a return statement like so, and everything's happy. Now the processed and the unprocessed are a little bit trickier because for these we actually have to do an intersection. In other words, processed photos means they were in the in queue and also in the out queue. So we need to do an intersection. For that it gets a little bit tricky. We're going to start by saying set intersection equals new hash set and string, and let's go ahead and add the string identifier on the other side as well. And then we need to pass into that photo, well, let's say dashboard DAO dot get, let's say get photo in. Okay. One small change from a previous video, I realized that my set photo out and get photo out are private. Those should be public. This is on the dashboard DAO that we're calling because I need to get access to this photo in, photo out, which means I also need to add these methods to the interface. So just sorry for the rerouting here, but just a little bit of refactoring that we need to do. So let's do a quick pull up. So get photo out, set photo out, and we're simply going to move that up to iDashboard DAO, which is going to make it accessible. So we go ahead and choose finish. Okay, and now back to, let's see, we'll go ahead and save here. And now back to our dashboard. So we're starting with a hash set that is all the photos that were put to the in, topic. Now what we need to do is we need to find the intersection of those that were in the in topic and those that were in the out topic. That means they went into the photo processor and they came back out, meaning they were successfully processed. So we say intersection. Intersection. Retain all, and we're going to pass to this dashboard DAO dot get photo out. So what that means is only keep in this intersection collection, only keep what's in the photo in topic and also the photo out topic, and then now we'll return intersection. Now what about unprocessed photos? That means they went in the in, but they have not been seen in the out. So for that, we need to do something different. We need to basically do a difference. We'll go ahead and start with the dashboard.getPhotoIn. But this time we're going to say remove all. So we're going to say intersection.remove all. And then we'll say dashboard DAO.getPhotoOut. So it's either going to be in the processed or in the unprocessed pile, although we're not actually considering something that would have been in the out but not in the in. That would probably be an exceptional case. We might want to add that to exceptions down below. So here we say return intersection, just like so, and save. So now our service layer is all set. Now what we need to do is we need to make a user interface that's going to represent all of this. So we'll go back to our view like so, and I'm going to go to the controller. And this is a controller we've been adding to over and over again. So let's just take one of these simple endpoints, and let's make a new endpoint for this. Put it down towards the bottom. And we're going to say, show the dashboard. Okay. Not worried about a lot of this stuff. Let's keep it simple and just make it value equals dashboard. And now return dashboard. Now we're going to need to do some model and view action here. So let's go ahead and grab, I'll tell you what, we'll say model and view, we'll borrow a little bit that we have up here. Okay, actually, yeah, I kind of like that better. We'll say return model and view. And up here we'll say set view name. Oops, don't need to do that. I think I did a little too much typing there. Okay, up here we'll say set view name dashboard. Okay, and now we'll say, well, I'll tell you what, we need to do a little bit of math there, but first let's scroll up. We need to remember to import that dashboard service, don't we? Ooh, you know what? And we also need to make an interface out of that dashboard service. So let me go ahead and save this. Right-click, back to the dashboard service here. Right-click, refactor, and let's say extract interface. And let's call this one iDashboard service, just like so, and OK. And save. Okay, back to our controller. And now we're going to say, well, we'll do it up here a little bit. How about that? Private iDashboard service, dashboard service. And we'll say autowired and import. Okay, back down to where we were now. Now we're going to kind of clear this guy out a little bit. We'll say dashboard service dot, ooh, you know what? I need to, one more thing I need to do. I need to pull up all of those methods from dashboard service to iDashboard service. So let's go to dashboard service, right-click, refactor, and I just realized those, oh, they're private methods. Okay, let's make them public. Private was a typo, probably just force of habit on my part. Okay, so now they're in the class. Let's right-click, refactor, and let's say pull up, and we'll simply pull these three getter methods up into our interface. There we go, and save. And now we can access them from our controller. So finally, back to our controller. Dashboard service, .get exceptions, dashboard service, .get processed photos, and dashboard service, .get unprocessed photos. Naturally, I'm calling these, but I'm going to need to assign them to local variables. So let's do a control 1, and let's say assign statement to new local variable. Exceptions is good there, and set as a string is fine. Okay, control 1 on this guy. Assign to new local variable. Processed photos is fine, and set as a string is also fine. This guy here, get unprocessed photos. You can probably see where this one's going. So control 1. Assign to new local variable, unprocessed photos is fine. And now we simply need to add those to our model and view. So we'll start the first one, exceptions. And then duplicate this a few times, and we'll say processed photos. And unprocessed photos. And save. Okay. Oh, and let's make this, I'll tell you what, we'll go ahead and we need to change that return type as well, don't we? So we'll change that return type to model and view. Now, we need to make a template for dashboard, and we need something where we are iterating over collections. So let's take a look at our existing dashboards, and I see one here called Show Specimens. Yeah, looks like we have here a list group, and we're iterating. That'll be a good start. So let's right-click on this one, copy, and templates, and paste, and we'll call this one dashboard. zoom up on dashboard, and we'll call this, we'll say dashboard. Okay. Now, what we need to do here is say exceptions, or let's say exception, and then exceptions. Now we'll use that kind of naming syntax to pull that exception, the exceptions collection out of our controller. Okay, and then we simply do singular exception. Let me go ahead and give a title to this guy. We'll say H2 exceptions. And we'll duplicate this a few more times. We'll start with processed, and then we'll go to unprocessed. And just to recall quickly, we're calling this processed photos and unprocessed photos, okay? So we'll say processed photos, and down here we'll say unprocessed photos. And let's make this all look a little more homogeneous. So we'll say process, just like so, and add that into our variable right here. And unprocessed, and unprocessed, just like so. So save, and let's see what it looks like. Now I paused the video and did a quick dry run to make sure I didn't have any typos or anything. Here's what the dashboard looks like on first view. And here's what the dashboard looks like when a photo has been uploaded and has been processed successfully. You notice that it's showing this item in processed. So let's walk through it now a little bit slower though. Let's walk through it in the debugger. I'll tell you what, I'll run back and grab a new photo for us. So, ooh, look at these red bud leaves here. So right click and we'll save image as. We'll call this red bud leaves. And save. And now we'll go to our application and we'll go home. And we'll say once again, we'll give it a latitude and longitude. Okay, description. Say red bud leaves. And then eastern red bud is our plant. Choose file. We'll pick that new file. And where to go? There it is, red bud leaves right there. And okay, and upload. Now, let's watch what happens. So first of all, we're in the Save Photo Image on the Plant Diary application. So just as it's always done, it's going to upload the image from the user, and then it's going to add this item to our topic called Photo In. So I choose F8, and now just like before, we see two breakpoints hit simultaneously. One of those breakpoints is our photo processor, process photo. This is the one that's doing the resizing. Let's not fast forward this one yet. Let's go to this dashboard DAO. Remember this dashboard DAO. Now, it's taking this photo in, and what's it adding? We'll take a look. We currently have something called Eastern Redbud Flower Close-Up, which is the photo that I uploaded when I was doing a dry run. We're going to be adding another one here, which is that Redbud Leaves. So I'll go ahead and choose F8. Now, when I choose, I'm going to add a couple breakpoints also into, let's see, Control-Shift-R, and let's look for that dashboard service that we created. Let's add a couple of breakpoints in here. So get unprocessed photos, I'm going to snap a breakpoint on line 19, and get processed photos, I'll snap a breakpoint on line 28. Let's go back now and refresh our dashboard. When I refresh the dashboard, you see the debugger breaks. So let's see what happens. Get processed photos. This is the one that's the intersection. Let me zoom this guy up so we can look at it in higher def. So I choose F6, and we start by saying give me all the photos that are in Photo In. And notice that we have two options here. One is Redbud Leaves, the other is Eastern Redbud Flower Close Up. Redbud Leaves is the one that we've just added, which has not yet been processed. Eastern Redbud Flower Close Up is the one I added a few moments ago. Now we do the retain all, which means retain only what Photo In collection and Photo Out collection have in common. Again, these are both sets, which means that all of the entries inside of them are unique. We could do a quick inspection on Photo Out. Let's see if I can do this really quickly. Get a quick peek at this guy. So Photo Out, notice that Photo Out only has one entry, and that is Eastern Redbud Flower Close Up. So the intersection should only have what these two sets have in common. I choose F6, and what do we have in this final intersection? We have exactly one item, and that item is what? Eastern Redbud Flower Close Up. So I go ahead and choose F8, let that continue. Now it's coming down to find the unprocessed photos. Remember, the unprocessed photos say, start with one set, remove anything that is not common between our first set and our second set. So our first set, again, just like before, is everything we've sent to be processed, which includes the redbud leaves that we just uploaded and the eastern redbud flower close-up that I uploaded and processed previously. And then the intersection is saying, okay, keep only, in this case, the intersection is saying remove what they have in common and keep only what photo in has that photo out does not have. So I anticipate this intersection will only have one item, and that should be the redbud leaves. Sure enough, there it is, that we just uploaded. Because the redbud leaves is in photo in, it's not in photo out. So when we say remove all from photo out, that only leaves us the difference. As a matter of fact, I should probably rename this and call it anti-intersection or difference or something like that to make it a bit more meaningful. I go ahead and choose F8, and let's look at our dashboard. So you see our dashboard now has one item processed, which is the item that I processed a few moments ago when I had the video on pause. Unprocessed has the image that we've just uploaded. Let's go back to Eclipse, and let's go ahead and right-size this guy here. And we should have a breakpoint stopped on our image processor. And sure enough, here it is, and he's sitting here waiting patiently for us to say go ahead. So let's tell this guy go ahead. Now, pay very careful attention to line 41. Line 41 is taking this redbud leaves and adding it to photo out topic. So I choose F8, tell it to continue, and guess who picks up now? The dashboard DAO picks it up and realizes, oh, okay, so this is a photo out. So we choose F8 here. Now I go back and I'm going to refresh my dashboard again. At this point, I'm anticipating that both are going to appear in processed, none are going to appear in unprocessed. So we refresh, debugger hits. Let's look again. What's the intersection of in and out? Well, in has the redbud leaves and the redbud flower image. So I'm expecting this intersection to contain both images because both images have now been processed. And if I mouse over intersection, what do I see? I see two images. We choose F8. Now, what about the unprocessed photos? That's anything that's gone to the in topic but not the out topic. I choose F6. I'm expecting nothing here because everything that's gone to the in topic has also gone to the out topic. So F6. And what do we have in intersection? Nothing, an empty set. I choose F8, and let's go back to our dashboard, and let's see what we have. Both items are now unprocessed. And I actually accidentally hit refresh again. So let me just go ahead and F8 through this. But nonetheless, you see our dashboard is showing us that both of these images have been processed. Now, just for fun, let's go ahead and try this one more time, but let's try a file. We'll try our POM. This is not an image, and therefore it cannot be processed. So we try our POM, and I choose upload, and okay, so I choose F6, F6, F6. The Plant Places web app doesn't know what this is, so it's just going to send it on through. It doesn't realize it's an XML file, not an image file. So I choose F8. Okay, now my dashboard DAO, photo in. We'll go ahead and F8 through that. And let's go to our, I'll tell you what, let's quickly run to our dashboard. And at this point, we should see the two items still processed, but one sitting in unprocessed. And of course, I'll need to set a couple of breakpoints free here. So we'll do F8 on this guy and F8 on this guy. And let's run back and take a look. And sure enough, we have two in processed, one in unprocessed. Now let's go back and see what our photo resizer is going to do with an XML file. Probably it's not going to like it. So F6, 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 F6. We'll keep F6ing through this. And boom, there we go. Notice that when we tried to run this through Thumbnail-Later said, I don't know what this is. It's not something that I can add a watermark to. So it went to the exception block, and sure enough, there's our photo exception, and I press F8 to continue. Now, guess who picked up on this one? Our dashboard DAO picked up on this, and it's now added this item to our photo exception. So let's go back and take a look at our dashboard one more time, and I hit refresh. Okay, so get processed photos. What's this going to be? It's the intersection of the photos that went in and the photos that went out. At this time, we have 3 photos that went in and only 2 that came out because one was an exception. So I choose F6, F6, and what does our intersection have? It should just have the 2 valid photos. And sure enough, you see redbud leaves and eastern redbud flower close-up, but you don't see that one that's the POM. so we choose F8. Get unprocessed photos. This should be anything that went into in but didn't go to out. I expect, so this will be the difference between the out set with 3, the in set with 3 and the out set with only 2, which will leave us one item, which is that palm. So I choose F6, F6, and what do we have together? We have one item, and what is that one item? That's our palm, and I choose F8. Looks like I probably did, I didn't set a breakpoint on get exceptions, but we know that that's going to have our palm in it because that was in that exceptions collection. So let's go back and take a look, and sure enough, now we have an accurate dashboard. We have processed, redbud leaves, we know that was successfully processed. We have our eastern redbud flower close-up. We know that palm was not processed, and we can look down at exceptions and see, sure enough, there was an exception there. So this is the start of a good dashboard. There's certainly a lot more that we could do. We could probably just use the file name. With the exception, we could probably put some information in there about what went wrong. We could probably use some more smart objects instead of just using a string path. But nonetheless, you see we've used some very advanced concepts here. Kafka, topics, a Kafka listener, sets, and the Java collections framework to come up with a really snazzy dashboard. You could probably even think of some reactive things that you could do to automatically update this page when a bean or some reactive component is notified of changes in Kafka. Nonetheless, I hope this video has been helpful, and I look forward to reading your comments. Thank you.